Welcome into Dallas Mavericks Today by Chat Sports. I'm Jeffrey Cooperstein. On this edition of Mavs Today, I wanted to give you guys a little mailbag session. You guys asked your questions down in the comment section and over on our community tab, and I picked some of the best ones. We're just going to jump right in and answer them. First one coming in from Chef Euro. Shout out to Chef Euro for the question. He says, why do the Mavs run pick and roll a lot and not let Lively extend the floor and shoot threes? So this is kind of a multi-fold question here. Number one, the Mavs run a lot of pick and roll simply because it's what they're best at. Luka Doncic is the best pick and roll player in the league by far. It's really not even close, as he knows exactly what to do with the ball on any given pick and roll. If the defenders trap him, he'll make the right pass. If they go under, he'll shoot. If they come over, he'll make another move to get free of his defender, and he'll get into the lane. He can do it all on the pick and roll, and he's truly unstoppable when he gets a screen, and he can do whatever he wants with the basketball. So that's one of the main reasons why Jason Kidd likes to use the pick and roll a lot, and why Luka likes to use the pick and roll a lot, because that's the most effective part of his game on the offensive end. And to kind of add to that discussion on why they don't let Lively extend the floor and shoot threes, I don't think they're quite ready for Lively to add that to his game on a consistent basis yet. Lively worked a lot in the offseason on his offensive game, not just on three-pointers, but also on his paint moves, on his jump hooks, on his turnarounds, and that kind of stuff. And you've seen a little bit of that early in the season. We saw Lively make the 1-3 in Game 4 of the Finals, and that was really cool, but I don't think the Mavs coaching staff is comfortable with him shooting threes on a regular basis yet, and I don't think Lively himself is comfortable with shooting threes on a regular basis yet. And also, Lively is a very good roll man in the pick and roll. When he comes and sets the screen and he's rolling down to the basket, it's very hard to stop him. And then when they implement the little ghost screen as well, where he acts like he's coming up to set a screen and then just slips to the basket and loses his man, that's why the Mavs are so effective in pick and roll, and they're able to beat teams in so many different ways in the pick and roll aspect with Lively and Luka doing that. Now, do I want to see Lively expand his game and eventually become at least a respectable three-point shooter? Absolutely. I don't think the Mavs need Lively to be this lethal 45% three-point shooter who's taking 5 attempts a game. Do you want him to take maybe 2 or 3 threes a game to at least have the opponent respect it and make them guard it? Obviously, that'd be cool because it would make the Mavs that much more difficult to defend on the offensive end. But as of right now, the Mavs don't need Lively to shoot threes, man. They just need him to be an effective rim runner, be able to be athletic, especially on the defensive end as well, and just run that pick and roll with Luka, with Kyrie, or whoever it may be, because that's what he's most effective at, and there's no need for the Mavs to kind of disrupt their rhythm. Mavs are a really good offensive team, even though they at some stretches during the first 11 games of this season, they haven't really showed it yet, but I think Lively knows what he's doing out there, and the Mavs know what Lively can do as well. And as we get later in the season, I could definitely see them giving Lively more of an opportunity to expand the floor and shoot some threes going forward. Shout out to Chef Euro for the question. This one coming in from Julianne. She says, who is better at scoring and defense between Lively and Gafford? And is that why they gave Gafford the starting nod? She added that in her question as well. Defensively, I think Lively certainly is better. He's a better shot blocker, and I think a better overall rebounder than Daniel Gafford is. Gafford, I do think, has a little bit more of a polished offensive game for a big man and what the Mavericks are doing. And is that why Gafford got into the starting lineup over Lively to start the season? Probably. But on the other hand, I think that Lively in the starting lineup would be just as effective, especially given the Mavericks' slow starts this year and how they've come out of the gate, which frankly has been not good. I mean, in 9 of the 11 or 12 games they've played so far, they've started out slow, and that's unacceptable. Dereck Lively is a real big energy guy, and he's someone that can provide the spark that is much needed from the get-go. And I'm not saying Gafford lacks energy, but when Lively's in the game, it just seems like the Mavs play with much more pace, more ferocity, and it just all seems like it flows much better. So I'm an advocate of putting Dereck Lively into the starting lineup and seeing what it looks like. Not only Lively, I think they should put Najee Marshall in the starting lineup as well to see what that looks like. But as far as Lively and Gafford go, Lively is certainly the better defender. Gafford is better on offense, but I think down the road, you might see Lively being better at both, and we'll see what happens in the next year or two, but Lively is going to be an all-around great center in this league for a very long time. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, by the way. We are at youtube.com/Mavericks TV. We're bringing all of the latest Mavericks news and rumors. We put out a trade rumors video the other day just talking about potential trade targets for the Mavericks and who they could possibly look at the 2025 NBA trade deadline, which is in February. The Mavs aren't going to make a move anytime soon, but there are still some rumors out there that are starting to pop up. And if we see something that we think is worth talking about, we'll absolutely hit it here on the channel. So please hit that subscribe button. And if you want to be on future mailbags like this one, go ahead and leave your question down in the comments as well. We got a question here from Rami who says, what are they doing with Maxi Kleber? Oh boy, everyone's favorite topic. Maxi Kleber is sort of an enigma, and here's why. He can absolutely help the Mavericks with his skill set, his shooting ability, his defensive versatility, his ability to stretch the floor and to set screens and do all the dirty work that the Mavs really do need a guy like Maxi Kleber to do. However, Maxi is not available enough. He's already missed a couple of weeks this year with the hamstring. He got hurt in the playoffs last year and missed a significant amount of time. He's just never healthy, and at this point, Jason Kidd can't really rely on Maxi to be in the rotation every single night. And I think that's kind of why in the last few games he's been a DNP coach's decision. Will the Mavs need Maxi Kleber at some point this year? I think the answer to that, is absolutely yes. And at the same time, I think Maxi is going to be used as a potential trade chip in a future deal. When you look at those deadline deals that the Mavs may have to make this year, whether it be for a six-man or whatever their need may be at the trade deadline, Maxi is making $11 million this year and next, and that contract is extremely tradable. And I think when you're talking about who could the Mavs possibly trade away in order to improve their roster, Maxi Kleber is going to be that salary matcher that the Mavs look for. So the Mavs could use him in the rotation the rest of the season for sure. They also could use him as a potential trade chip. And right now, he's just not part of this rotation. They tried to look at Omax Prosper for a couple of games. Thought Omax provided some things that Maxi Kleber didn't. Omax didn't end up playing in the game against Golden State where they played a little smaller and had Quentin Grimes. At one point, they had a four-guard lineup on the floor with Kyrie, Dinwiddie, Grimes, and Hardy. So that was a really small lineup the Mavs played, and I think they're going to look to do that a little bit more. I want to see Omax play as well. I'd like to see him get some extended minutes in the rotation. So as of right now, plain and simply, Maxi just isn't a part of the rotation, and that's obviously subject to change, but that's where things sit with Maxi Kleber at the moment. Final question here from Noah Tubbs. He says, have teams finally figured out the Luka puzzle, and how will Luka adjust? That is a great question, and Luka has struggled through the first few games of the season. Now, he's gotten much better since about game 6 or so, but have teams figured out the Luka puzzle? I don't know if that's necessarily the case. When you look at his numbers this season, look, he's still averaging 28.5 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, 42% from the field, and 32% from 3. So it's not like he is having a bad season, so to speak. Now, maybe bad by his standards. Yeah, he hasn't been the guy he was last year, averaging 34 points a game on pretty great efficiency, where he shot over 38% from 3 and 47% from the field. He does need to up his efficiency more. I don't think that's any question, but have teams particularly figured him out? I don't think so. I think teams like to try to blitz him as much as possible. They want to trap him. They want to throw as many different bodies at him as they can, but has teams figured out the blueprint to stop him? I certainly don't think so. I think the only person stopping Luka from being truly great is Luka himself. In a couple of games, he's just taken some shots that are just ill-advised because he fully believes in his heart of hearts that he can make those shots. He should not be taking 30-footers with 8 seconds on the shot clock up to with a minute left. Those are just ill-advised shots, and he knows that, but he also believes that he can make those and try to end games. So the only person at this moment that can stop Luka truly is himself, and I don't think teams have particularly figured him out. This stretch will be pretty interesting to see how he responds coming up with the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Nuggets again and a couple of other really good teams here. So we'll see how he responds. We'll see if he improves over the next month or so. But no, I don't think the NBA has figured out Luka. I just think he's struggled, plain and simple, to start this season, and I hope it gets better, and I think it will get better as the season goes on. That's going to be it for Mavericks Today by Chat Sports. My name is Jeffrey Cooperstein. Greatly appreciate y'all for joining me on today's show, and we'll see you soon here with another episode.